The Marvel Cinematic Universe has always thrived on reinvention. Every hero finds themselves reshaped, broken down, and reassembled in ways that test the very core of their identity. But few characters have been reconstructed with such narrative weight as Tom Holland's Peter Parker. The ending of Spider-Man No Way Home left audiences breathless. Peter alone, stripped of his Avengers connections, forgotten by loved ones, forced into anonymity while still burdened with immense responsibility. It was a quiet, devastating reset that placed Holland's Spider-Man in the most vulnerable position we've ever seen him. Now, as discussions of Spider-Man 4 begin to heat up, the shadow of blue Oasis hovers over fan speculation. While much has been said about that rumored storyline, the real intrigue lies in what happens beyond it. The question is not only which villains or which allies Peter may encounter, but rather how this stripped-down version of Spider-Man reinvents himself for the next generation of cinematic storytelling. This is not just another chapter. It could very well be the blueprint that defines Spider-Man's place in the MCU's uncertain but expanding future. The final moments of No Way Home did more than just wipe Peter from the collective memory of his closest friends and allies. It recalibrated him as a character. No longer the cheerful kid mentored by Tony Stark or shielded by the Avengers' shadow, Holland's Peter became a figure reminiscent of the comic book original, an everyman hero struggling alone in the sprawl of New York City. That loneliness matters. It shifts his motivations and decisions. Instead of operating within the larger machinery of the MCU, Spider-Man is now a singular presence once more. He rents a small apartment, crafts his own suit, and swings into the night with no guarantee that anyone will have his back. The safety nets are gone, and in their absence comes a psychological weight that fans have not yet seen fully explored on screen. In Spider-Man 4, this narrative void is both the challenge and the opportunity. It opens the door to a street-level story, one less about cosmic threats and more about the city that defines him. It forces Peter to relearn what being Spider-Man really means when no one is there to remind him. Beyond the blue oasis, the uncharted New York. Much of the MCU has been preoccupied with multiverses, gods, and interdimensional threats. Yet Spider-Man has always been a character most at home in the alleys and skyscrapers of New York. The rumored Blue Oasis storyline teased a dive into criminal underworlds and unexplored corners of the city, but the greater promise lies in how the city itself becomes a character in his story again. New York is no longer just a backdrop, it's a test. The city is teeming with villains, political corruption, media manipulation, and social unrest. Imagine a narrative where Spider-Man is not chasing down portals or magic cubes, but fighting for the very soul of his city. He's not saving the multiverse, he's saving a single block from collapsing under crime. This is the pivot Marvel Studios needs. A grounded human Spider-Man against the chaos of New York could not only freshen the character, but also create a tonal counterbalance to the larger, often abstract MCU conflicts. One of the burning questions around Spider-Man 4 is the villain. Without an Avengers team up to anchor the narrative, the choice of antagonist becomes even more critical. Theories have swirled around figures like Kingpin, Scorpion, or even a grounded reintroduction of the Osborn legacy. Kingpin. With Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin now a central figure in Marvel's street-level stories, an eventual collision with Spider-Man feels inevitable. Kingpin is not just a physical threat, but also a psychological one, wielding power through corruption and manipulation. Scorpion. The seeds of Mac Gargan's Scorpion were planted back in Homecoming. His return could provide a more personal, revenge-driven narrative that aligns with Peter's smaller, street-level struggles. Black Cat. Not a villain in the traditional sense, but a morally gray figure, Felicia Hardy could add complexity to Peter's emotional landscape. A partnership-turned-romance storyline could challenge Peter's tendency to isolate himself. Norman Osborn, reimagined. While Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin delivered an iconic multiversal return, there's still room to re-establish Osborn within the MCU proper, perhaps less as a cackling supervillain and more as a corporate manipulator. Each of these choices would send Spider-Man in a different emotional direction, shaping not just the film, but the long-term trajectory of the character. Fans often underestimate how much No Way Home's ending reshaped Peter Parker's psyche. Being forgotten by everyone he loves is not just a plot device, it's trauma. Spider-Man 4 has the potential to dive into the kind of emotional storytelling that elevates superhero films from spectacle to cultural touchstones. Imagine Peter hesitating before reaching out to a stranger, remembering that everyone he loved no longer remembers him. Imagine him questioning whether his sacrifices are worth it when he has no one left to share his victories with. That kind of narrative weight could redefine not just the film, but the entire perception of Holland's Spider-Man. Perhaps the most important question, what is Spider-Man's role in the MCU now? With the multiverse saga sprawling in multiple directions, Spider-Man feels caught between two identities. Is he destined to rejoin the cosmic battles, or is his future locked in the grounded street-level conflicts? The answer may be both. Marvel could leverage Spider-Man 4 as a tonal reset, allowing Peter to solidify his independence before inevitably crossing paths with larger Avengers-level events again. By re-establishing his solo identity now, the MCU can later reintroduce him into the cosmic narrative without sacrificing the intimate weight of his personal journey. Spider-Man has always been about reinvention. From Raimi to Garfield to Holland, each version carries the same essence, but evolves through circumstance. What makes Tom Holland's Spider-Man unique is that his story is still unfolding. He's not finished. He's only just becoming the Spider-Man that fans have always known was possible. Beyond Blue Oasis, the future of Spider-Man 4 lies in storytelling that is smaller, rawer, and more emotionally charged. It lies in villains that test him not with magic, but with manipulation. It lies in a Peter Parker who finally understands what it means to carry responsibility without recognition. If Marvel chooses to lean into this narrative path, Spider-Man's cinematic future could be defined not by spectacle alone, but by the kind of human storytelling that makes him the most beloved superhero of all time.